There's been a murder. Well, a fake one. Today we're going to look at DNA fingerprinting analysis. So, like I said, there's been a murder. Apparently someone has been murdered on the set of a TV show. Now I won't go into the gruesome details, but I will detail how they were able to solve such a heinous crime. So, who was at the crime scene? Well, there was Jim, Lucy, Johnny, Cindy, and Ash. These 5 individuals were all present on the TV set alone, working as the stage crew before the TV hosts arrived. It is important to note that Johnny is Cindy's son, and at some point between 3 and 5 p.m., Ash wound up dead. So cops entered the TV set and collected all the DNA that was present. They did a clean sweep. They found that DNA was on the shirt of the victim that they believe belongs to the culprit of the crime. They then took the DNA and passed it off to scientists, where the real lab work started to begin. Scientists looked at the 2 distinct VNTRs, variable number of tandem repeats, within the DNA and were then able to amplify these fragments using polymerase chain reaction, or PCR. Scientists analyzing the DNA were careful to wear all appropriate PPE to avoid contamination of the DNA throughout the use of this technique, because contamination is one of the major limitations seen. So scientists ran the gel electrophoresis. Like any gel, DNA was loaded into the wells at the negative pole and migrated towards the positive pole. Scientists also made sure to include evidence and victim loci so that they had something to compare the suspects to. Now, because the evidence needed to be thorough, 2 gels were run, which I've provided in the video, so let's take a look. Alrighty, so we have VNTR loci 1 and loci 2. In order to get a good idea of who committed the crime, we need to look at both gels at the same time. So looking at the gels, we can see that the evidence DNA is included here as something to compare everyone else's DNA to. Looking at locus 1, we can see right off the bat that the victim didn't leave the evidence. This should be obvious since the victim is dead, but to be methodical, we can look and see that neither gel, VNTR1 or 2, does the victim match evidence bands. So moving on to Cindy. On either gel, she does not match the DNA that's the evidence DNA. However, you can see that Cindy and Johnny's DNA match. As I said before, Cindy is Johnny's mother. Only 1/2 of their DNA matches because Johnny's father was not at the crime scene, so we are unable to see the father's DNA, which is where the second band shown on Johnny's row of the gel would come from. Alright, so we've covered both Cindy and Johnny. We can move on to Lucy. Lucy does not match the evidence DNA or anyone else's DNA. This means that Lucy is not the culprit of the crime. So finally we can move on to Jim. Looking at both VNTR loci, we can see that in both cases, Jim matches the evidence DNA. This means that Jim absolutely had to be the culprit of the crime. Alrighty, so that covers the very basics of DNA fingerprinting analysis. Thank you for watching.